Welcome to Martini Time in this beautiful day in Blackstone, the center of the world, but then you too are the center of the world. And I think all of my talks basically are explaining and defining and expanding that idea that you are the center of the world and that you are the world and the world is you, which is also the same as being the center. So, yesterday afternoon, we went to a reception, not a reception, a funeral, but it was a reception here in town with plenty of good food, and they handed out to everybody there peacock feathers in remembrance of the person who had passed away. And it might have been her request. She was a classmate of my wife. Her name was Vanine, and she gave us these peacock. I got two because both Tilly and I got one. But have you ever seen a peacock spread its feathers? And in India, the peacock is a spiritual bird, and I don't know anybody who doesn't love a peacock feather. But these are eyes. Have you noticed that? Bring close. The peacock eye. It's an eye, and you know that butterflies and birds and fish have eyes on them. Why is that? Have you ever wondered about that? Was it just, it's just pretty? So the peacock eye, when the peacock the male spreads his tail feathers, it's like 1,000 eyes. And this is in the Hindu religion, this is a symbol of Krishna or God, and with 1,000 eyes. Or Elvis. Now, when Elvis used to sing to people, everybody felt, particularly the women in the audience, felt that he was singing just to me. So his eye was looking at me. But everyone felt that his eye was looking at me. So that's the 1,000 eyes. Every eye is looking at me. Seeing me personally. Singling me out of the herd and seeing me personally. So let's talk about that eye. I'll put this down. And there are two kinds of eyes, the evil eye and the eye of a lover. Now the evil eye is famous. It's the baleful eye of Chucky. In horror movies, use the evil eye. It could be somebody staring at you on the subway. It's a fixed eye. It's a stranger. It's threatening. Boxers, when they meet in the ring, will stare into each other's eye, and whoever blinks is going to lose. Curb Your Enthusiasm. What's his name? Would always do that when he was questioning somebody. Who would get up and look in their eye. But the idea of the evil, people are told, you go to New York, don't look at anybody in the eye. Strangers you might ignite something. Who you looking at me? Even the cat, and what was the Taxi? Robert Duvall. Are you looking at me? That whole. You look at me. The sergeant, the drill sergeant, says, take your eyeballs off me, soldier. And the sheriff in Cool Hand Luke with the shaded glasses. You see, that protects the eyes. In other words, it makes there's something about the evil eye, but at the same time, there's the eye of the lover. So you look and stare into the eye of the beloved, into your lover, and you go into ecstasy. If you look into the evil eye, you go into violence, an explosion of violence. Two tomcats staring each other down. Finally, the tension gets so great, you see. the tension of the evil eye will get to some point where it can't be tolerated, and something's got to blow. Something's got to blow because the tension is. But at the same time, with the eye of the beloved, the tension is, it goes, wow, 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 I'm one, I'm one, I'm one, I'm one. You see, so in the eye of the beloved, you see, looking into the eye of the beloved, you see yourself looking back. So instead of two separate selves, there is one. And because each is looking at the other, it's like each is chasing magnifying the, I magnified you, you magnified me, you magnified me, I magnified you, you magnified you. Wow, 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 wow. And you go into ecstasy. Or in the eye of the evil eye goes just the opposite way. You looking at me, you looking at me, what you looking at me for? Wow, 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 tension, you see, two me's. But there's got here. So when you have, well, let me look. So we're trying to look. Here's two eyes, you see, two me's looking at each other. Well, wow, 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 wow. You see, there can only be one me, but when the me is split into two me's, what happens? Well, there has to be one, but now there's two. So I've got to get rid of that other me in order to be me. I've got to get rid of that me in order to be me. So now you have a civil war. Now you have a violent conflict, you see, of one of the two me's wanting to restore the one by being the only me. But it can't, because the other me is it too. So it keeps going, wow, 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 you see. It can't not. That's why civil wars can't stop. That's why the conflict of eyes, left and right, can't stop until it either exhausts itself or there's a violent self-destruction and everybody dies, you see. Because when the one me is divided into two me's, yet there must be one, there can't be two. There can't be two me's. Even twins, identical twins, have no, each has its own me. In other words, it's not like I'm me and if two people, a lot of times in asylums, this becomes a problem when you have two people who claim to be Jesus. Well, I'm Jesus. No, I'm Jesus. No, I'm Jesus. Well, there can only be one Jesus, so you're phony. No, you're phony. No, you're crazy. No, you're crazy. There can only be one, you see. A good movie that investigated this was Oblivion with Tom Cruise. But anyway, so we're trying to understand the beloved eye, the eye of the beloved. The mystics, Master Eckhart says, the eye with which I see God is God's eye seeing me. Or the eye with which I see God is my eye looking back at me. Which is the eye of the beloved. Look in the mirror. Just stare at yourself in the mirror. And try to get beyond the image. Try to get beyond the face. Try to get beyond the wrinkle or the hair or something. Try to get beyond the object and just look into the look. Just look at the looker. The looker is looking back at you. You're the looker looking at you. So that can create the virtuous vortex. Oh, wow, wow. You won't create the violent vortex because it's you. So you have a virtuous vortex of the beloved eye, the beloved looking at each other, and you have the vicious vortex of the stranger looking at you. Wah, 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 wah. You see, that's separating, that's splitting the me, where the beloved eye magnifies the me, makes us one, the mystical one, the one that is the center, the one that is the center of the world, you see? So that one can be discovered in the eye of the beloved. Because now the other is not the other, but the other is me looking back at me. And of course the other sees me as them looking back at you. That's what romantic love is about. It's about the two becoming one, but not objectively, not in thought, but actually being one. So they can't be out of the other sight. They can't be that separate. If they're out of the other sight, there's I've got to get back in touch. I've got to get back to one, you see. I'm separated. There is no hell greater than the separation of lovers, you see. So this was very interesting to me yesterday when I got these two peacock feathers, because of course they kind of like created this talk. But also for me, I remember Swami Muktananda. Swami Muktananda was my Siddha guru in the 70s, late 70s, and he was a Shaktipat guru. He could, by his look, transmit energy to you. You could feel it. Or he would tap you with peacock feathers in his evening programs or retreats. He would be sitting down at his chair, and people would line up and come down and give him a gift and ask him a question. And he would pat them with this big wad of peacock feathers. He would pat you on the head with them. And you might get a little energy, or you might not. Yeah. But anyway, he would use this as his wand. So I always remember that association. You can see him, right? There he is. You see, there he, right. Yeah, there he is. I should put these peacock feathers up there. I think I'll stick them up behind the picture, and because that is my personal remembrance of the peacock feathers. And last night at the funeral reception, which was a joyous occasion, good food and getting the peacocks was a special delight, because they are the symbol of the third eye. If you notice on Muktananda here, you have that little dot right there. You see it in Hindu religion all the time, but that means the third eye. That is the single eye. That is the mystical eye. That is the eye that is the one, sees the one. That is the eye that is not me against the world. See, when I feel like when there's a feeling of me, it's me against the world. I know what I'm doing, but the world's doing stuff to me. So the world is other, you see. That's two. That's our consciousness eye. That's the eye of the mind. That's the eye of our culture. But the mystical eye that must open up from the desire of the heart for God, you see, when that mystical eye begins to open, you begin to feel the unity of everything. You begin to see everything through that eye as one. You are one, I and you. We're all, each of us is the center of the world. The one without a second. That's what the center means. The one without a second. So when I look at my beloved through my eye, and I am my beloved looking back at me, that's the one. That is two, you see. But when we don't have that eye open, that peacock eye is not open, all we see is two. And we suffer, and we're alone, and we long for the eye of the beloved. We long for that unity. We long for that center. We long for that eye that sees unity instead of division. But at the same time, we see division because you have to go catch a bus and make something and make your way in the world. So your eyes of two stay open, but your spiritual eye also opens. So you see oneness in two-ness. You see two-ness in oneness. Without that eye, you just see two. Thanks for dropping in.